All right guys, so here's the deal. What if you want to buy a brand new camera today and you have absolutely no idea what camera to buy? And make matters worse, what if you want that camera to be a hybrid camera or good at both photo and video? What camera should you get? I'm gonna go over all of my favorites and not just these right here at every different price point from $500 up past $5,000. And let me know your favorite cameras or maybe the cameras that you're using, cameras that you would buy today if you could in the comments below. I'm curious to see what you guys said because a couple weeks ago I did a video going over my favorite cameras for both photo and video, so go check that out. A couple of you guys said in the comments below that you wanted to see my opinions on some hybrid cameras out there, and also you wondered why Fujifilm wasn't in there as well. So I'm gonna go over both of those in this video and go over all of my favorite cameras in every budget. So let's talk below $500. And I think for most people, the best option is going to be just to upgrade your phone. Honestly, even if you have a little bit older phone, usually a couple $100s is all you would need to get something that's really amazing, a top of the line one. Actually, I do have a video coming out soon because I actually got two phones in this week, some brand new phones. So I shot a lot with them this upcoming week and I can't show those videos yet, but let's just say they definitely involve exotic cars. So make sure you're subscribed and have some notifications turned on for those coming up. But I do have a whole video going over why these phones are so amazing and how to use them to their full advantage. Yeah, spending a couple $100s, you always have your phone with you anyway. And these are some pretty powerful cameras in a lot of the most recent phones. If you do want a real camera, there's a couple advantages here. One is that it's a very good tutorial process for getting to know a camera. You can have one in your hand. Maybe it makes you look more like a photographer than a phone will. Then I would probably check out the Canon T7. And this is the 90D. It's kind of the big brother to the T7, but a very similar camera. But it's not, you know, it's nothing crazy. It doesn't have any massive features on it like some super fast frame rate shooting or 4K video. It's 1080p, but it's got a good solid sensor on it, some great image quality. You can learn a whole lot from that camera on there. So the T7 is really the best all-around camera, and you can get it for way under $500 with a lens, which is pretty unbelievable. Now, if you're right up to that $1,000 range, this is actually really the sweet spot for getting amazing hybrid cameras. You can get really good photo quality, really good video quality, 4K. Some of my best options on this one, there's actually quite a few, but my favorites would be the Sony E10 and the Fujifilm X-T30. And I would phrase it like this: if you're more of a photographer, but want to also shoot some video, go with the Fujifilm X-T30. And if you're more of a video, if you think of yourself as a video person, but you also want to be able to shoot amazing photos, then go with the Sony. And the reasons why are not really about quality. Both of these are amazing quality. They both shoot amazing video. It's really about handling and ergonomics. So the Sony doesn't have a viewfinder on it, and it's really centered around video with a flip screen on it and some really cool features that really separate it from a lot of others in the packet, as unlimited recording and tons of different options on this one. Whereas the Fujifilm X-T30 has an articulating screen instead of a flip screen, but it does have a viewfinder on it and really gives you some very good options both for photo and video. Now, Sony does have an a6400, which is a very similar camera to the E10, just with a viewfinder on it, so that might be an option. It's a couple $100s more though, so you definitely have to really want Sony and the viewfinder to go with it. Sony does have a lot of different lens options, kind of the reason I didn't include it, Fujifilm, into the last video. Sony has a lot of different lens options, both from Sony and Tamron and Sigma. So if you want to be able to buy more inexpensive lenses, Sony does have a few more options than Fujifilm, but as far as the cameras themselves and the lenses from Fujifilm or from Sony, both of these cameras are amazing. Now, getting in under $1,500, this is an interesting one because it has changed a lot in the last couple years. So it used to be that my favorite cameras would have been high-end APS-C cameras, kind of like this 90D right here. These ruled the space for many years, but things have changed drastically over the last few years, and full-frame cameras with insane image quality have come down in price to the point where there are some really good options in the space that still give you a ton of features. A little bit less, maybe slower frame rates and a few features pulled out from the higher end $2,000 plus cameras, but still absolutely amazing what you can get for the price. My favorite is a camera you probably haven't heard of too much. It is the Nikon Z5, and I don't have a full review on it yet, but it's a very similar camera to this Nikon Z6, which I just put out a video on as well. And this is a 24 megapixel sensor, full frame, which is crazy. You have a lot of really good features on it, some overall pro features. It does have dual card slots as well. So if you wanted to use this for things like events or weddings, you absolutely could. And 4K video across the spectrum. And overall, it's just an amazing camera you can get for the price. Nikon doesn't have the most lenses, I would say, for a new camera brand in this mirrorless line. However, the lenses it does have are very well tuned for this kind of prosumer level camera. So entry level full frame, they do have a bunch of lenses that really fit that. So for me, the Nikon Z5 would be the camera to get. So now we're about to get to the really good stuff. Right in this $2,000 range is where cameras just become to a whole nother level. I mean, they have features that you could use for anything from pro video, pro photo. I don't care what you're shooting, you can probably find a camera in this price range that does an amazing job on it. Now, if you are in this price range, guys, definitely make sure you have an awesome website to go to. I recently upgraded mine to get some features like some new gallery tools, calendar features on here, and actually a full storefront. So if you don't have any of those, go ahead and check out squarespace.com. I've got some links down below for them and a free trial with a coupon code, so go check it out. So obviously Squarespace makes it crazy easy to build a new site with templates, customizable blocks for adding in new content, and even the ability to search through thousands of images to help you get started. And there are just some insane tools for photographers and videographers, from custom galleries that allow you to password protect them for sharing privately with clients, and the ability to add in e-commerce to be able to sell your products online as well. I was able to upload my camera guide so I could sell them straight through my site in just a matter of minutes. There's also a full scheduling system, so you can actually have your clients sign up directly for their sessions online. So go ahead and check them out, guys. It's completely free to get started. Just use my coupon code LearningCameras when you build something awesome, and you can go live with that site today. Now, right under $2,000, I'm gonna give you two choices of cameras right here. Now, there were a couple of people in my last video that asked where Fuji was. This is where I would put them. So right in this $2,000 mark is a camera called the Fujifilm X-T4. It is an amazing camera. I love this camera. I shot with it a whole bunch. You can really get some awesome results on it. The hardware is so cool. It looks amazing. It feels amazing. It's very manual, the type of interaction that you get, but I absolutely love shooting with this camera right here. You also get 4K video up to 60 frames per second, amazing frame rates, great image quality overall. The only negative, it is an APS-C camera, which in this space, you have a couple different full frame options to compete with. Where that's mainly gonna make a difference is with low light, but there are a few quality advantages to getting that full frame sensor or having the ability to really work your way into pro-end cameras. If you are looking to do that, one of my favorites right now is going to be the Nikon Z6. And I say that because for hybrid shooting, not only can this shoot 4K 60, although it does have a crop factor on it, has one of my favorite video profiles. It does have an awesome output to be able to shoot raw video onto external recorders, a really good amount of options for video features on that. Plus, for photo shooters, it has some of the most amazing image quality, 24 megapixel sensor, dual card slots on this thing. It is really loaded up with a ton of features. And again, even though Nikon doesn't have the most amount of lenses in this space, they definitely have a bunch that are really tuned for this $2,000 style camera. So go ahead and check them out right there. The Nikon Z6 is my favorite camera under $2,000. Now for $3,000, this is gonna be an easy choice for me. It is going to be the Canon R6. And I say that for a few reasons. So this is just an amazing hybrid camera. It gets a lot right when it comes to that space. The resolution is only 20 megapixels, so if you're shooting something like landscapes or maybe studio work, it does seem a little low, but this sensor is very good, so the quality really shines through, and I do think that even with 20 megapixels, you can still do some pretty large printing, and as a plus, it does have solid dynamic range and great low light performance. So if you're someone like a wedding photographer or something like that where you're dealing with low light, this actually does work great. It does have dual card slots, it does have a flip screen, so that works well whether you're shooting photo or video. I shoot cars a lot, and being able to get kind of low down to the ground and still get this vertical shooting option is great for me. Also, if you're a video shooter, you have full frame, 4K, up to 60 frames per second, 10-bit video, log modes, and some of the best image stabilization, whether you're shooting both photo or video. And Canon's new lenses for their RF series are really solid. They do have some cheaper options as well, a good 35mm, a good 85mm. So there are some decent options for you if you're a Canon shooter for lenses. Not a bunch of third-party options. So that's kind of the only weakness right now. Nothing really from Sigma or Tamron or anything else for the RF mount. But you can use Canon's older EF lenses with an adapter. So if you do want to get some cheap lens options on that one, that's a way to go. Now what's interesting is Sony has ruled this space for years with the Sony a7 III. Now that camera is 3 years old, so I'm giving the reign to the Canon R6. However, I guarantee you if Sony were to replace that camera anytime soon, it would probably be the camera to beat in this space. But for now, right now, the best hybrid camera for you under $3,000 is going to be this, the Canon R6. Now moving up to about $4,000, this is another easy one, probably the easiest one. This is going to be the best camera that you can get, hands down. I don't think anything else is really going to beat this. This is the Canon R5 and is absolutely amazing for a bunch of different reasons. So if you're a photo shooter, I don't care if you shoot sports, wildlife, studio, portraits, whatever, landscapes, I don't care what you shoot, this camera is absolutely amazing for it. So yes, you get amazing hardware on this, definitely a step up from the R6 with a better viewfinder on it. You have a larger screen as well, still a flip screen, dual card slots, CF Express, you have a screen up front, excellent hardware, but you're also getting over 45 megapixels on this camera and stunning image quality overall, great colors. So I don't care what you're shooting, it's amazing. On the video side though, 8K up to RAW. You can actually shoot 8K RAW on this, which is insane. 4K up to 120 frames per second. Oversampled from an 8K sensor to 4K, so really stunning stuff, 10-bit video. Really the only weakness for video side right now is that it doesn't have unlimited recording. They still do have a timer after about 30 minutes. You have to hit start and stop again. But other than that, this camera is absolutely exceptional. If you have $4,000, definitely the R5 is a camera to beat. Now, if you happen to be blessed enough to be in that $5,000 range and up, this is gonna be the camera to buy. Actually, this is, if money is no object, this is definitely the camera to buy, the Sony A1. And I absolutely love this camera for a whole lot of reasons. So on the surface, it seems very similar to the Canon R5 in that it's also a high resolution sensor, slightly more megapixels at 50, but it does shoot 8K video, 4K to 120. Also like the R5 on that one, dual card slots, really cool camera. However, the big difference is this has a stacked CMOS sensor for extremely fast readouts. What that means is that you can actually shoot faster, up to 30 frames per second with 50 megapixels with no viewfinder blackout or artifacting or rolling shutter, what you would usually get on a non-stacked CMOS sensor. Plus you can do that all completely silent. So if you're someone who's shooting weddings or at places that you can't really make a whole lot of noise, this is an insane camera to get. And on the video side, you actually get more codec options than you did on the R5, unlimited recording on it, and really amazing video options and shooting options. It is one of my favorite cameras to shoot with. The only negative to me is a price tag. It's $6,500. This is not cheap. And we are gonna get some new cameras in, like the Canon R3. Nikon's even rumored to have a Z9 that might compete a little bit better with this, but we know the R3 already, and I still think the A1 comes off as a more amazing hybrid camera for most shooters on this one. So I do have some shoots. Actually, I just shot with this camera yesterday for some really cool stuff with a car, so you can check that out. But some really cool shoots on the way. This is gonna be an awesome season. Cameras like crazy. So stay tuned, make sure you're subscribed. Hope you guys are doing amazing. I'll see you soon in a new video.